Welcome to Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. Sit back and enjoy these great stories and memories of the Kingsmen Quartet.
Welcome to Behind the Crown.
Welcome to this episode of Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Josh Griffin and Brian Hudson. Brian, how are you doing up there in Ohio this evening, sir?
Josh, I am doing well. It's raining cats and dogs up here in Ohio. Matter of fact, it's raining so much, I think I've used this joke several times on the podcast. Animals are lining up 2 by 2 in my driveway. It's raining so much. It's supposed to rain for the next 4 or 5 days straight. Thank you for joining us on the Behind the Crown podcast. This podcast is dedicated to the message, the men, and the music of the mighty Kingsmen Quartet. And Josh, we have a special guest tonight. But before we get rolling on the questions, and I'm visiting with our special guest, Josh, do you have a piece of useless information that we need to share with the world?
All right, let's go. Allodoxophobia. Allodoxophobia is the fear of other people's opinions.
Oh, my. Allodoxophobia?
That's it. Well,
Wow.
I say that's the way I'm going to pronounce it, so hopefully that's correct.
Well, that I like it when I can learn a new word. Now, I don't know that I ever use that word again, but
Yeah.
allodoxophobia,
There you go.
the
That's right.
fear of other people's opinion.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty good piece of useless information, Josh. Yeah, I can tell you done your homework there. Well, I found a piece of useless information, and I have discovered most of the ones I want to share with the world have something to do with food. We talk a lot about food on Behind the Crown podcast. We talk about the Kingsman and we talk about food. How that works, I'm not sure, but I discovered it takes 540 peanuts to make a 12-ounce jar of peanut butter.
Wow.
540 peanuts to make a 12-ounce jar of peanut butter. Now, I have to ask you, Josh, are you a peanut butter man?
Oh,
Do you like
yes.
peanut butter?
Yes. Instead of peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just peanut butter sandwich, no
Oh,
jelly.
I'm with you. I like peanut butter sandwiches with a bowl of chili. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like peanut butter sandwiches with potato chips. I don't know why. I don't know why. I had a cousin. He puts
Yeah.
peanut butter on his pancakes, and
I've
then
heard
puts
of
put
guy
syrup
putting
on top of that. Yeah.
peanut butter on pizza and eating it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said you done that, or who does that?
No, no. My current pastor does, and I've seen him do it in the flesh, and I was like, that is so nasty.
Peanut butter on pizza.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know what that I ever have. I don't think I'm gonna step foot in your church just because of that. I think there's something unspiritual about putting.
Well, let's don't
I
hold
like
that against
peanut
the whole
butter,
church now. Let's
And I love pizza, but I wouldn't put
Yeah.
peanut butter on pizza. I
just don't go together. Yeah.
No, I like pineapple on pizza.
Not
I like
me.
deep dish. I love it.
Yeah.
I love everything on it, nothing on it. So anyway, well, there we have it. So we always talking about food. We get off on a
Yes.
tangent. All right. Well, Josh, who is our special guest on the podcast tonight?
Yes, current baritone singer and MC of the mighty Kingsmen Quartet, all the way from Hiawassee, Georgia. Now lives in, I'm gonna say Douglasville, Georgia. Mr. Alan Kendall.
Thank you. I can't
Alan, how
believe
you
I
doing,
got
man?
invited back.
You doing all right?
I'm doing fine. Doing
You
just
looking
fine.
good, man. You looking good. We
Yeah.
appreciate you joining us tonight. We've been looking forward to having you on here. Of course, we visited with you last year, but you were in the middle. I think was your daughter having a softball game, or
She was at softball, like a softball camp,
okay.
like that. And so I did it from in the car, but I'm at the house now in the basement here. So
Now, Alan, do you have a man cave down there? Do you have a man cave in the basement?
no, not here. We got a several faces in our household. So I just kind of go wherever there's least amount of people if I need time to myself.
I understand. I totally understand. Well, man, thank you for joining us on the podcast tonight. We know that your time at home, especially because you're a current Kingsman, I know what it's like. Your home time is very limited, and we appreciate you giving us a few hours of your time. So I'm kidding, a few minutes of your time. But we understand you have a big announcement to make tonight during the podcast, but we're gonna hold off for that for just a little while. And we want to talk to you about some other things of what's going on. So, what is actually happening with the Kingsmen these days?
Goodness gracious, it is shaping up to be a great 2026 for the Kingsmen. Of course, this is our 70th anniversary,
Right.
and so we've got all kinds of stuff that are coming together. We're going to we're going to have a 70th anniversary album. We've already been talking about that. That'll be releasing this summer. It'll be on our table probably late spring. It's going to be called Still Jesus 70th anniversary. So we got that, and we got a 70th anniversary tour. We're going to do about 20 or so dates with
Awesome.
a live band.
Wow.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to doing that, and we're hoping that that will lead to something every year, where about one weekend out of every month for about 6 months out of the year, I guess, we'll go out with the band and have some sort of
Yeah.
and it Kingsman kind of theme to it.
Wow.
So we're hoping to do that, but we're going to get started with the 70th anniversary tour this year. And so a lot of great stuff going on. Got a documentary coming out Monday and dropping to all the streaming, well, on YouTube. That's where it's going.
Okay.
And so we got part one. It's a 4-part documentary.
Yeah.
And so we're going to cover part one here on Monday, March the 9th, 1956 through 1970. And I can't wait for everybody to see it. I've gotten to see it. You'll learn some stuff.
Wow. That is pretty cool. And that's going to entail, gentlemen like, Raymond McKinney and Frank Cutshaw and Jack Henderson, those guys, and of course, Calvin Runyon. And man, those, and I'm sure you're going to cover the McKinney brothers and how they formed and all that type of thing, right?
Yes. Interesting. Now you know Evan Bradford, who
Yes.
came in the studio not long ago. Evan was doing a lot of video and doing a lot of interviews. So you'll be on part one,
Okay.
talking about some of the legends of the group, and Evan has put this documentary together. And the one person that is a little camera shy is Raymond McKinney.
Yes.
And he's a little camera shy, but several years ago, I went to his home and visited with him. And that's what kind of started that Kingsman Decades book, the first one.
Okay.
And he told me everything about the early days of the group. And he let me just put my phone in my shirt pocket and just record. And he just told me all kind of stories. And that's what we ended up using for his.
Wow. That's pretty
part
cool. That is, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it worked out good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. The part one of the documentary will come out on what day? March
Monday, March the 9th. It'll
Monday, March
drop
the
on
9th. Okay.
YouTube.
On
So-
YouTube. Okay.
So we're excited.
Good deal. Good. That is great.
Alan, we saw a video recently at a recent concert, I think in South Carolina, maybe, where Raymond McKinney and his wife was actually there. Speak a little bit about that experience and talk about a little bit how Raymond is now doing.
Well, Raymond gave us quite a scare back in December. It was on December 24th. He fell and broke his hip.
Yeah.
And Raymond is now 91. He's fixed to be 92 actually on the 11th. March the 11th, he'll be 92. And he fell and broke his hip, had to go into surgery, and I'll be dogged if the man didn't go to go to the rehab facility and went walking out of the rehab facility and came walking into the concert we did over at North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
He, he'd been staying with his daughter Ramona, because the rehab facility was close by
Okay.
where Ramona lived, his daughter. And so he was still staying with them, him and Ruby. And so they came to see us, and he sat on the front row and just looked like he was having the time of his life. And we got a little video of him. I made sure I introduced him to everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, Told about what had happened. He's the only 91-year-old I know to walk away from breaking a hip.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh, so it was just a thrill to see him back. He's bouncing back, and he's the most spry fella I've ever seen at that age.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
he's not.
Man, that's awesome. I the years when I first went with the group, they it was Raymond and Frank Cutshaw and Jack Henderson and Calvin. They spent a lot of time with us at that time back in the middle '90s, and I really got to know those fellows. And just not only did I love to hear them sing and hear their stories, but man, just to know the groundwork that those guys laid for us, and they were they were so encouraging to us young guys, and kind of brought us under their wing, and and it was just incredible just getting to know them. So when I saw that video that you guys posted, that just made my day, man. To just see, and I'm trying to, and I know you mentioned Raymond's camera shy, and so I'm trying, I'm reaching out to his daughter, trying to get some way of maybe, and I even said, even if he could just give us a few quotes to use on the podcast, because we want people to know about Raymond or about the early days of the Kingsmen. And so, this being Behind the Crown, we want to definitely, I would love to get him on here, but I totally understand, he, like you said, he's kind of camera shy, but we're going to do our best to at least, talk to him a little bit, let him, answer some questions and let everybody, but I'm glad you let everybody know how he's doing, because we've requested prayer for him on several episodes. So,
Oh yes. Oddly enough, Raymond was an encourager of me before I even became a part of the Kingsmen.
wow. Okay.
When I joined my first group that I ever sang with, Melody Boys Quartet, and I sang in my hometown at my parents' home church I grew up in for the very first time. Raymond came to that concert. Oddly enough, I think it was one of his daughters had a house
Okay.
in Hiawassee, so he was staying there, and he heard that the Melody Boys were singing just down the road, so he came to see us. I'd never met him.
Yeah.
And he was so gracious even then, and then when I joined the group, he remembered me,
Wow.
and so he was he was gracious all over again. So wonderful man, wonderful man.
Yeah. He had, those guys, like I mentioned a moment ago, those guys were just salt of the earth guys, and just
Yes.
stuck, not, they were just so encouraging to us young guys. They loved what we were doing. They supported us, and that's just one, and kind of our next question I wanted to ask, and that kind of goes along those same kind of same theme almost. The Kingsmen, like you said a moment ago, celebrate 70 years, and it's rare that a group had that has stayed around that long. I was thinking the other day, how many groups right now in gospel music can actually say they've been together that long? Maybe a handful, maybe a handful.
That's very rare with quartets.
Oh, absolutely. Most of the time, it's family groups that stay together that long, and of course, they change members, of course. But from your standpoint, what do you think? What do you think the reason is that the Kingsmen are still going strong after 70 years? Could you give it your opinion on why do you think that is?
I there's been I've been thinking about that this year. It's been two things really. For one, it is a quartet that has been ran by families.
Yes,
Stop and
true.
think about that. I never thought about that till just recently. I mean, you had the McKinney brothers
Yeah,
that operated the quartet, And of course, all those guys were like family to each other anyway. And then Eldridge Fox took it over, and Greg became a part of the management of the group alongside his
Right.
father. And then Ray, who had been there for so many years and had become so much a part of other members of the group's families, um, took it over. And then it's been passed to Brandon.
Yes.
So there's been that element
Yeah.
that you don't really always get in a quartet. But most of all, for me, and you've alluded to this, Greg Fox has alluded to this. It's been the songs.
Yes.
It has
Yeah.
been the songs.
Yeah.
I get to even pour through some of the material that we get sent
Yeah.
to it, and I think to myself, man, um, they thought enough of us to send us Victory Shout. They thought
Yeah.
enough of us to send us Unstoppable God. They thought enough to send us When the Old Story Was New, Church of the Great I Am, all these songs that, um, to a group that was over 65 years old and could very well have been placed on the shelf
Yes. Yeah.
in a competitive music industry,
Yeah.
but yet people still keep sending us incredible songs, and you're gonna hear some of that on the new album too. So,
And plus,
my
the Kingsmen could very well, I mean, to be honest with you, the Kingsmen could very well end up being a cover band.
we could.
And a lot of groups have become that.
Yeah.
They become a cover band of what they once were. But the
Yeah.
Kingsmen are always looking for new material. And to
Oh, yeah.
think, Alan, the songs you guys are singing this weekend, Unstoppable God and Victory Shout, and those songs are becoming iconic. They will be the songs 30 years from now that the younger people say, I remember when the Kingsmen sang Unstoppable God. And those are going to be the songs that I grew up on. There's going to be the next generation of songs that are going to help people, and that's what's cool. The Kingsmen are consistently, constantly looking for great material. You're not
Yeah.
just, you know,
Still ask for, they ask for Unstoppable God. They ask for When God Ran. They ask for, I Will Rise Up from My Grave. They'll ask, and coming up to recent song, they'll ask for The Winds and Waves Still Know.
yeah, yeah,
They'll
Yeah.
ask for all kinds of our most recent song, Ready for the Change.
yeah,
And so it's definitely moving to know that these songs are still making the
yes.
impact they are.
Yeah.
And in fact, this week, and because I knew we were going to talk to you, I listened. I had a ministry date. I had two on Sunday. On my way back home, I had about a 2-hour drive. I probably listened to "The God Who Gives Himself Away" about 10 times because, man,
Wow.
that is such an incredible song. I mean, I heard that. I got our last interview we did with you last year. Uh, I listened to that, and man, I had to listen to it all over again. And it's such a great song. And to me,
It's great.
that's one of the greatest songs the Kingsmen have cut in the last 5-6 years. It's a wonderful song. So
I
it
love
is
the song.
great song.
Yes. And I'll add too, is the guys that have been part of the Kingsmen as well too. You know, not only legends, I guess you would say now, but just down to earth men who get out there and sing about Jesus and who take time with the people, with the fans like me. And that's a testament to their long history as well too.
That's
Yes.
very true. Very true.
Yep. So Alan, for anybody that don't know much about Southern gospel music or the Kingsmen, tell a bit of what a typical day looks like. Maybe start like on a Wednesday, like y'all leave out on Wednesday night. Talk a little bit about just how the weekend goes.
Well, we will meet, usually on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. Leave about midnight, unless we've got further to drive, and I go to sleep, and usually, Cole and Harold, they'll go to sleep. Brady will eventually go to sleep. Brandon he's like his daddy. He's a night owl, so he'll stay up for a little while. But we'll ride through the night. We'll sleep, and we'll get up in the morning. I'll get our coffee in our system, about 11 o'clock, we'll check in whatever hotel because we our bus driver Daniel will sleep during the day, and we don't have showers on the bus, but it's not completely necessary anyway,
Right.
considering that we got to get a room for our bus driver to begin with.
Yeah.
So we'll all get showers while we're there, and then usually we try to get to the church or the venue about 3 hours before concert time. It gives us time to set up and then just kind of chill a little bit,
Yeah.
get ourselves ready for the concert, and do the concert, and then come back, tear down, and usually end up trying to find something to eat, or the guys do. I'm getting to the point now. Harold and I particularly, we're getting to where we keep food on the bus because we're getting tired of dealing with restaurants after dark.
That's true. Yeah.
Just different day and age now than what
You know.
than the way we came into this.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of our day. I'm usually in bed about somewhere between 11 and 12. I'm not a night owl like a lot of these singers are. Cole's usually up first. I'm usually up second.
Yeah.
And, so me and Cole, we go to bed pretty early, get up a little early.
Now, you mentioned coffee. Is there a coffee pot or is a Keurig machine? You have
Or Keurig.
okay, yeah. So
So
if fans, now I'm throwing it out here for the fans.
Yeah.
If fans would like to bless you with a part of the coffee ministry on the Kingsman bus,
oh my goodness.
what kind of coffee? Because hey, fans all the time will say, "Hey, what do you guys need? We're going to bring you something."
Yep.
Here, give us an idea of what the Kingsmen like to drink for coffee wise.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can speak for the rest of the guys. We all kind of have our different kind of coffee tastes because you'll see about 6 or 7 boxes of the Keurig coffee on the bus.
Okay, yeah,
I personally like a dark roast coffee.
okay,
I like the Seattle's best Post Alley or whatever you
yeah,
call it, dark roast coffee, and I like the Sumatra
okay,
Yeah.
coffee. Those are my favorites. The Sumatra's nice and smooth, and Post Alley will kind of growl at you in the morning. I usually start with Post Alley and then go to the Sumatra.
right,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, I thought you mentioned coffee. I said, hey, because fans want to know what to bring you guys, and that'd be a great blessing. They show up with a box of Keurig cups and K cups, and said,
Yes.
here, this for the bus.
It'd thrill my soul. Let me tell you
See,
that.
so you heard
That's
it here on the Behind the
awesome,
Crown podcast. You heard
Yeah.
it right here.
Made peppermint mocha creamer.
Oh yeah. Come on now.
Oh.
Well, Alan, you told me something funny about 3 or 4 days after the cruise. A fan had said to you concerning a
Uh-oh.
product, and I thought that might be a good little thing to share on the podcast tonight.
This one was a doozy here. Brady was there with me. Brady did most of the talking to the fan, but and Brady's so gracious with people.
Yeah.
I usually have to, if I hear something weird, I'm usually the one that ends up having to step off and go laugh. But this these folks, and I don't know what was going through their minds or whatever. We all say weird things sometimes.
Yeah.
They come and they ask for if we had a flash drive of one of our albums, and we had run out. We didn't have
Okay.
anything on the ship. So they said, "Well, do you have a shipment coming in before the week's over?"
I mean, you're in the middle of the ocean. You're in the middle of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brady said, "No, we don't." And they were very disappointed. I said, I don't know what they expected it to come in on, whether it be a train or what, but
Yeah. I mean, right. We've got a shipment coming all the way out here in the middle of the ocean. of USB flash drives, you know?
Yeah, the Bahama police was gonna come out on their police boat and bring it to you.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe they thought that we had, manufacturer down in the Bahamas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you guys do have connections. I mean, maybe that, maybe you got you
We have
got
connections. We don't have those kind of connections. So
yeah,
Oh, that's a good story right there.
that is
Yeah.
good. Well, any other
Oh.
funny recent stories you had about funny things that were said to you at the table or on the stage?
we had something hilarious happen just this past weekend.
Okay, okay,
Um, we were at a benefit concert in Virginia, and there's a pastor and a lady, a DJ,
okay.
who had their own radio show. Uh, they had us come do their benefit concert. They were on the board of directors for, and I'd met the lady before at the Quartet convention. She had interviewed me, and so I was familiar with her. Nice lady, and we were setting up, and she got to talking to Brandon, and they were discussing the order of the program. She says we're gonna have the choir do some singing to start, and then we'll bring you guys out. Y'all do 45 minutes or whatever, and then you can take a break and then come back. Your standard
Yeah.
program. She said, while you're taking your break, she said, I do a ventriloquist act,
Mm,
and
okay.
I do a ventriloquist puppet act, and I might just do that while you're on your break. And Brandon said, well, whatever you do, be sure you include our bass singer Brady on your act.
Oh,
Said
man.
he'll just love that. And so she said, I'll make sure I do that. So so Brandon comes to the bus and tells me, said, we're going to surprise Brady with this lady's ventriloquist act.
Oh my.
And, he said, just play along. And I said, well, I'll do more than just play along. I said, I'll leave him out on the stage by himself to handle it. And,
Yeah.
and so, so I went to Brady and I said, Brady, we've got some new things with our social media that I don't really know anything about. Why don't you tell them about it? And then I'll come out and talk about the product. He
Yeah.
said, sure, no problem. So I put him out there to tell about social media and the things coming up, online. While he's doing that, the lady comes out with a toy sheep,
A toy sheep.
a sheep, and if you ever remember the lady that had the kids show, Sherry Lewis, had lamb
Yes,
chop.
yeah. Lamb chop,
This
yes.
sheep was kind of akin to lamb chop,
Okay.
and so she proceeded to have uh, fake lamb chop um, tell Brady how cute he was, and the sheep just rubbed all over him, kissed all over him, and everything. And there couldn't have been a worse person to play the straight man to this act, because Brady stood there absolutely dumbfounded, deer in the headlights the entire time, had nothing that he could say to interact with this lady.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
finally,
god.
she finished her she finished her act and starts going into something else. Brady walks off the stage, looks at me, and says, "You're on your own right now."
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, that's funny. Poor old, poor old Brady.
Oh,
Couldn't
I'm
have
shot
happened
sure.
a nicer guy.
That is
Uh,
classic, man. That is classic.
I'm sure y'all have picked on him ever since he joined y'all. He's made it this far. Wow.
oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
oh,
yeah,
I
he's
He's
made it
pretty
this
tough.
far. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
made it this far. It surely it can't get any worse, but it probably will. Um,
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
awesome. That is awesome.
man.
That's good stuff.
Alan, what's some of the favorite snacks that y'all like to eat on the road while y'all traveling up and down the roads?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think here. The guys like fruit. I think Brady, of course, Brady and Brandon, they love candy. Brady loves
Yeah.
ice cream.
Mm.
Cole loves tree bark and plant roots. That stuff. I,
Yeah,
uh,
he mentioned on his interview he's trying to eat healthy.
yes,
Yeah.
he does try to do that. I try to some of the time go a little bit low carb on my snacks lately. Um, so I've gotten to where I like cheese and like charcuterie
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff, and then also like buffalo chicken dip because those are all low carb snacks.
Yeah.
Um, and I was doing really good for a while there. Then Christmas came and I fell off the wagon. But um,
It's easy to do, man. It's easy to
that's the
do.
kind of snack I need right there anyway. But
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've invited you on the podcast tonight because you had reached out a couple of weeks ago to Josh and I, and we were texting back and forth, and you said you had a big announcement for the group, and so we wanted to make sure we give you plenty of time to talk about that tonight. So I'm going to just kind of hand it over to you for the next little while, and just tell us what the big announcement is for the Kingsmen.
Well, and thank you. You guys have always said whatever you want to announce or whatever you guys want to do, so let us know and we'll do this. And
Yeah.
that's great for us. Brian, you were here for this when we did this back
Yeah.
last fall. Um, we've got I mentioned we got our 70th anniversary album coming out. Of course, we're dropping some songs in advance, which is commonplace now. But we're going to pull out an old Kingsman song and we're going to release Is That the Old Ship of Zion? And not only with today's Kingsman, but also with about 13 or 14 Kingsman alumni, including Brian, um, that came together in studio. Had a couple that recorded remotely, but we came and formed a Kingsman alumni choir to sing "Is That the Old Ship of Zion," and cannot wait for everybody to hear this. And I'll see if I can remember all the names
Okay.
of the people that are going to be on this because it was a room full.
Yeah.
Of course, Brian, and of course, Ray Dean Reese. Um, we've got uh, Chris Bryant,
Mhm.
Bob Sellers, Greg Fox, Ray Talley from the 1960s was there, Gary Shepard, Arthur Rice,
Jer-
Josh
y-
Harrell,
yeah. Jerry Martin.
Jerry Martin, um, Chris Jenkins, who graciously said, I can't be there. I said, but whatever you would like for me to do, he said, I will go on my dime and record it myself. And I thought that was super gracious.
Yeah.
And then we also had the voices of Squire Parsons and little Ernie Phillips
Yeah.
chiming in. And and by a happy circumstance, the recording that we pulled Squire and Ernie's vocals from, Nick Bruno was singing background vocals, and we left that intact.
Yeah.
So we've got, and of course, all the present day Kingsmen. So we got a quite a group of Kingsmen that are going to come together and do the Old Ship Design. It's the first time it's been available to, I think it may be to streaming platforms in many years because I know that it's been sitting in the Benson archives for a long, long time. We don't
Long
know.
time.
We don't know if they have any plans to release it any time in the near future. We got together and we said, we really, if we want to honor the Kingsmen for the 70th, and if we want
Yeah.
to, that we want to do the Old Ship of Zion and do something special with it, something unusual. And so we came together and said, let's do it and do it in this fashion. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. It's pretty incredible.
Now, when will it be dropped?
Friday, March the 13th is the
Friday,
day.
March the 13th.
In fact, as you listen to this podcast, the pre-save link is now available
Yes.
on all the streaming platforms. You'll be able to go to our social media page right now, or as soon as you get done listening to this,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you can pull up our page. We will have the pre-save link
Yeah.
to the song, and then a week from the date of this podcast airing today, it'll be released.
Yes.
So
That's awesome. That
we're
yeah,
excited.
when you guys reached out to me and invited me, of course it was an honor to be invited to it. I began to think, okay, wait a minute, how's that going to happen? Because
Yeah.
I was thinking that the Chattanooga version. And, I'm thinking, well, how are they going to pull a voice off here? And because you'll hear the, people getting excited, during the song, as my granny'd say, it got out of the banks that night on Chattanooga Live. And I thought,
Yeah.
how are they going to do that? And when I got down to the studio, so for the behind the scenes people that like the technical stuff, Alan, how did you guys execute this?
Yes.
Give us an idea how you executed this.
Well, from one of Ray Dean Reese's recordings from several years ago, he did the old ship design with Squire and Ernie, and I think maybe Jim Hamill and Gary Shepard, and then like a choir,
Yeah.
uh, an additional choir. I don't know if that's on there or what, but we kind of use that as our template,
Yes. Okay.
and kind of worked with that and meshed everything together
Yeah.
in that fashion.
Yeah.
There's one thing when Brandon and I were talking about it, I made mention of this particular recording, and I said, you got Ernie's voice, and he does that last verse just as well as he did.
Oh
did on
yeah.
Saturday. Ernie never lost his
No, no.
voice in all those years, and I said, if we're going to do this, I said we have to kind of cap it off with Ernie
Yeah.
singing towards the end there. And so we began to kind of brainstorm, and then we heard Squire's voice on there. So uh, Squire starts it, and
Yeah.
Ernie
Finish
finishes.
it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And so can't wait for everyone to hear it. And we it's just amazing how it all came together, and it took a lot. It took the patience of Joe for Roger Talley and the
Yeah.
engineer Clay Miller to put it together. It's a mixing marvel. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about
Well, I know when I was standing in the booth and I've got the headphones on, and of course there's no click track. And for those who don't know, in a recording studio, you can have a click track, and that will tell you when to come in for timing wise. So basically, we had to listen to Squire sing his verse, and we almost had to sing it exactly like Squire sang it in the tempo that he sang it in, so we could keep it all in sequence and how it was going to flow. And so when the little part of I got like one line in the second verse, and so you basically had to listen to Squire in your ear, and everybody had to sing along. And then when the tenors came, they had to sing along with Ernie and listen to how Ernie was phrasing things and
it.
how he was executing those lines. And after my section, I just stood in there and listened. Everybody, doing their line, and it was incredible. And of course, to hear Squire sing again and Ernie sing again, we just,
Oh yeah.
that. And then Ray's verse was amazing, and of
Mhm.
course, if you scroll back through on the Behind the Crown podcast Facebook page, you can see a lot of those pictures. I posted those pictures
Yes.
back in September because I had my camera out, and I'm kind of a historian too, and I'm a pack
Oh, yeah.
rat, and I love getting pictures of the guys that day as we were doing that in the studio. So,
Yeah.
but so I just think, like you said, it's a mixing marvel, and it would
It is.
I'm really excited about hearing it, and I know I had a lot of people asking about it. So it's going to come out Friday, March the 13th.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
make sure you after you hear the podcast, make sure you go on there and the website, and you can get all the information for that, and definitely download that. And that's going to be something you want to add to your Kingsman collection for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Kingsman fans, get your tissues out. You're going to need them.
Hey there, everybody. It's Joseph Reed with the Perrys and Singing News, and I'm a big fan of the Behind the Crown podcast, which is a deep dive into the Kingsmen. And fun fact, the very first record that I ever bought with my own money at 13 years old was the Kingsmen Quartet live stand-up at Opryland. I love the Kingsmen, and you're going to enjoy great interviews just like this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Greg
Well,
Fox is walled in the studio.
Yeah.
Old Ship is such such an iconic song for the Kingsmen. And do you have any Old Ship stories about the song?
There's more stories about Old Ship of Zion than some of the songs put together, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, anybody that sung the song has got a memory of, people just shouting and taking a lap around the church or
Yeah.
around the venue or whatever. And we've all got that. I've got one funny memory
Okay.
of Ray. Ray is, we were up near, I can't remember, in Pennsylvania or New York, but Ray was fixing to sing his verse. And a lot of people that have seen us, especially in the last 10 or 15 years, you know that Ray's kind of always trying to keep that low down placement of his. And
Yeah. Yeah.
come in on that verse of his, you'll go, listen now.
Yeah.
Kind of growl that out so he can stay down on that register. So this night was no different. Ray went, listen now. Oh, friends, just listen to the verse of this wonderful song right here.
Did he forget the words?
At the stern. At the stern of the
Oh, bless
song, we backed up, and Ray got this sheepish grin on his face. I looked at Ray. I said, "Live album or no live album?
Yeah.
Live album or no live album? I don't care if I did mess it up."
Oh,
That was one.
Yeah.
oh,
And,
that's
and
good.
for those who don't know, that line, no live album or no live album, he actually said that on the original recording
He did.
because he
Yeah.
got emotional during that.
Yep.
And and so he went back and redid that verse, come back into it again. So that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. That's great.
We were, and this is part funny and part serious.
Okay.
I probably have 2 or 3 stories I can tell on Old Ship Sign. We were in maybe West Virginia, I think, and Ray was getting the idea in his mind, and Johnny Perrick has kind of joked around about this, that he was getting sick and that he
Okay.
was losing his voice. That Ray is, some of you may know, Ray tends to think he's getting sick or tends to think he's losing his voice. When a minute or 2 ago he was just fine.
Yeah.
But if somebody sneezes or something, it's over. So,
Yeah.
Ray, I'm sure you're listening. Love you, Ray. But
Yeah.
well, it's the rest of us. But he had just tested his microphone and just blistered it. Sounded
Yeah.
like $1 million. And then like 2 minutes later, Ray says, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice, cousin. I said, Ray, no, you're not. You just blistered your sound check. Yes, I am. And I said, so I just let Ray stew in it for just a little bit there. And
Yeah.
Ray,
Yeah.
I got back on the bus. Ray said, "I just can't get it together right now. I'm sorry." A little irritated. I said, "Ray," I said, "I've traveled with several bass singers, one of which was Gerald Williams, and
Oh, yeah.
you and I have both worked with Berman Porter. Berman's a tremendous bass singer.
Yeah.
And we've all worked with some great bass singers." I said, "Ray," and I said, "Now Gerald will give you a run for your money." I said, "But you have the ability to any of those bass singers could be on before you, and all you have to do is go at the stern of the ship was the captain, and that entire room will forget that there was any other bass singer in the building."
That's true. That's true.
I said, "You've got that ability to capture a crowd
Yeah.
with the lyrics of a song."
Yeah.
And so that seemed to kind of pick him up a little bit. And sure enough,
Sure.
he sang it that night. And it was just another one of those powerful moments. I
Yeah.
think he was reminded maybe again. I hope that I said something to that remind him that he could connect with a song.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's one of his greatest gifts.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
there's two things, and you might remember one. I mean, you were at Ernie Phillips's funeral, and
Yeah.
so you have a memory of that. I was not able to be there. We were in Florida, and we were trying to fill the date while Ray and Chris Jenkins were up there doing the funeral.
Yeah.
Um, so, but we sang it for Ernie's Hall of Fame induction,
Okay.
and you can imagine the
Yeah.
response. Was that when we sang it, and there's Maurice Templeton and Claude and Connie Hopper and Mark Trammell and all these Hall of Famers right there in front of us, and some of
Yeah.
them, Martin Cook, some of them just boohooing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I turned to my left, and Ray's boohooing too.
Yeah.
And and laughing and smiling at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't forget that. That's at the Quartet convention, and of course singing in the Smokies when we did that this year.
Yes.
I hadn't heard him do that in about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He had not done it. He decided that he was, I guess, kinda retiring from doing it. But,
Check out the brand new hit by the Kingsmen, When Sunday Morning Dawned, now available on your favorite streaming platform.
you got time for one more old chip aside?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
This is pretty cool story because Cole and Brady had never really sung Old Ship of Zion with Ray
Yeah.
before. They'd not had the chance to really take in a moment like that.
Yeah.
And, they knew Ray was coming to the mountain, and they kept saying to me, said, "Can we please get Ray to sing Old Ship of Zion when we go up on the mountain?" And, now Brandon Reese is super protective of his daddy,
Yeah.
and, and he knows when Ray wants to do something and when Ray don't wanna do something, and
Right.
it might be, um, difficult for Ray to come around to doing something or whatever, and he's gonna defend his daddy and defend his
Yes.
daughter. So I didn't give Cole or Brady much reason to keep their hopes up about that.
Yeah.
I knew it was a great idea. There was no doubt
Right.
about
Yes.
that. And then Evan Bradford, who was gonna be playing bass for us, he said, "Man, we ought to do Old Ship of Zion." I said, "Well," I said,
We'll
"It's
see.
not a great idea." I said, "Let's just wait and see."
Yeah.
The very week of singing Smokies, Brandon called me and we were talking about different things. And Brandon said, "You know what would be really cool? If we could do Old Ship of Zion with Dad on the mountain." I said, "I am
Okay.
so glad you said that.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so glad you said that. I said, "We'll do it. We'll do it." I
Yeah.
said, "But whatever we do," and Brian, you can attest to this. I said, "Whatever we do, Brandon, don't tell Ray that we're going to do this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Ray will get in. Ray will worry himself to death about it if you do. So Brandon said that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, so we got up there on the mountain. It was Harold's first night back with us.
Right.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, it was already a big night, and we had a full band, and that was at the request of Luke Vaught, and Luke was playing, and so we put the band together, and so it was a great night already, and so I motioned, I introduced Ray, people went nuts. I said, "And we're gonna get ready to come up here," and I got the daggers stared at me when that
Oh,
happened. I I said, "Brandon, go get Ray because Ray's having trouble getting around, so,
yeah.
go get Ray and bring him up the stairs, help him up," and so,
Yeah.
Danny Jones said, "I heard a father-son argument like nobody's business coming up those stairs." He said, Ray said, "I am not singing no song, I ain't doing no singing." Brandon said, "Dad, just get up there and sing one song with." "Okay. Thank you very much. Good to be here tonight."
Yeah. Professional. Yeah.
So 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 he greets everybody, still don't know what we're gonna do, and,
Yeah.
finally, I given him no time to
Yeah.
Yeah.
react or protest or turn it down. I said, "Listen, as Ray sings one more time, the Kings sing one more time, the old ship is signed, dum, 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 I was stable." Didn't give him any time to protest it.
Yeah.
Um, so we got to that verse and it you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic,
Yeah.
magic, magic moment. I mean, Ray's voice was not as big and full maybe as it had been in the past, but it was so just perfect.
And people were shouting all over that mountain.
They were, and when he finished that verse, that place erupted into an ovation for,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was 2 or 3 minutes, and we were all
Yeah.
in tears. Yeah, I was.
Yeah. I was watching when the video when he was singing. I was watching you guys, and y'all were
Yeah.
just y'all were squalling and snotting this as
Oh, yeah.
big as I was.
Harold had his face just buried in his handkerchief, um, just crying, and as soon as Ray finished, as soon as the applause died down, Harold said, "How in the world do you sing after that?"
Yeah.
Well,
That is great,
I
man.
was expecting it, but,
Yeah.
that's just a handful. There's more stories I could probably conjure up about old ship design. I'm working on another Kingsman book at some point, and I'll probably write about it then, but,
Well, I,
that
I
day
have a,
was
I have a, I have a funny old ship story. Of course, everybody knows Old Ship of Zion is a cappella.
Yeah.
And back in the day, during my first tenure, we carried soundtracks to 4 or 5 songs. We had a whole entire rack full of soundtrack cassettes. So we sang Old Ship somewhere. I know it was me and Andrew Ishii. And I'm thinking Jerry Martin were at the table one night. A guy walks up and says, "Y'all got a soundtrack to Old Ship of Zion?" And I looked at Andrew, and well, I looked at Jerry, and and I think Jerry leaned up and said, "Well, no, we don't have a soundtrack to that." And
Yeah.
and so the guy walks away, and we just like we die laughing. We're just laughing, and so Andrew said, "You know what we should do?" He said, "We ought to, we ought to get get a blank cassette tape and put it in a case
Oh,
and put
no.
a generic cover on the front, said Old Ship of Zion, and have it's like, not have one key, and it just be one key, the original key that was
Yeah.
recorded it, and put it on the table and see how many cassette tapes we could sell of the soundtrack to an acapella song."
$20 a piece.
Yeah.
All right.
I said, I would love to just see how many we'd actually sell. Just one piano, done, given the key, and it's acapella, blank.
Man.
But Old Ship of Zion holds a special place for me, not just because it was a Kingsman song, but back when I was sang with my brother years ago, his favorite all time song was the Old Ship of Zion, and when he died in January of 2024, we sung "O Ship of Zion" at his funeral, and that's probably, of all the years I've sung that song, that was the hardest that I've ever had the experience during that song. It was the hardest emotionally, but that was my brother's favorite Kingsman song. It was the "Old Ship of Zion." So that song holds a special place in my heart for sure. So
Yes.
There's not a word wasted on it.
absolutely not. It's Conrad Cook wrote the classic of all classics.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote a lot of songs, and here in a few weeks we're gonna do a special episode about some iconic songs that Conrad wrote for the Kingsmen, and that being one, "Old Ship" being one of them. But you know, I just wonder sometimes if Conrad, if he really grasped what he was writing when he penned the song "Old Ship of Zion," if he really had any idea how big and how wide reaching that song would be, even today, you know, 40 some years later since it was recorded. And I was so happy that the Kingsmen have re-released that. It'll be out March 13th on Friday, be streaming. And then, of course, it'll be part of the new album coming out in the spring.
Yep.
So, but that'll be a very cool thing that every Kingsman fan needs to have for sure. So,
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yes.
oh, you talked a moment ago about Ray on the mountain. How's Ray doing these days?
Yeah.
You know, Ray is in general, for almost 87 years old, Ray's doing quite well. Um, he does not get around well, and he'll be the first to tell you that. He doesn't hide that at all. He's afraid of falling, so that has played the primary role in him pulling back on his travel. He has neuropathy, and the other is called polymyalgia, that is like a muscular situation that kind of clings to his uh, to his bones or something like that, from based on
Okay.
what he told me. Um, Aside from that, he's still still stays very up to date on things going on in the industry.
Yeah.
Still very much Ray Dean Reese.
Yeah.
He does miss being out on the road, but at the same time, I feel like he's finally come to grips with feeling very fulfilled
Yeah.
with his life and his career. I felt that when we were in the studio that day,
Yeah.
and very much at peace, and he's enjoying being with his daughter Kelly
Yeah.
frequently, and just kind of being near the office with Wendy. Um, he does miss the road, but every now and then I'll stop by and buy a pizza and sit and eat pizza
Yeah.
with him, and
Yeah.
and so we'll sit in his office and just visit for a while, and so I talk to him, try to talk to him every week, at least once a week.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Wendy. Give us a report on Wendy, this office secretary.
Wendy has received a clean bill of health.
Praise the Lord.
She
Praise
had
the Lord.
she had cancer surgery, and it was very extensive. Um, in fact, she had to have, I think, a couple surgeries and some treatment,
Yeah.
and it kind of knocked her out for a little while there. She was having a rough time. The last couple times I've seen her, though, she looks great. She
Great.
seems to feel great. It's just been miraculous to see her.
Wendy's a wonderful woman, and our prayers continue for her. And you know, she's been the Kingsman secretary for a lot of years. And
23 or 4 years, I believe.
yeah,
Something like
yeah, she's a wonderful lady, and our prayers continue for her for sure.
oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Alan, since we're right here in this kind of vein of the conversation, is there a special moment recently on the platform that God just showed up and kind of took over the service since you've been out with the Kingsman recently?
It's there's been quite a few. Um, it it just, touches my heart when we get to see a soul saved in
Yeah.
Yeah.
our services, because we don't always see that.
Right.
We see we sometimes hear later about how the seed was planted and things
Yes.
happened
Yeah.
later. We did hear about that with one young man, a friend of ours out in Arkansas, pastor's son who had made a profession of faith. Um, when he was small, but went off to college and began playing What the Blood Does.
Yeah.
One morning, getting ready for college, and came to the realization he was lost,
Wow.
needed Jesus, and got saved that very morning. And he came back and told that story at his dad's church. That was a powerful.
I can imagine.
And then I got to sing it after
That's
that.
great, man. That's great.
That was special. We had recently in East Tennessee had a young man, uh, probably in his 30s, come to Jesus, and he was not your typical church pillar looking kind of guy. He had him a ponytail and looked like he'd kind of been through it.
Yeah.
And but he came back after the service was over, and this is one of those services we did an 8:30 worship service that morning.
Woo!
Yeah, and so you're already there like, why me, Lord? But
Yeah.
at the end of it, it became very clear. But he
Yeah.
came back and told me kind of his story, and he said I really shouldn't be here this morning.
Mm.
He says I'm an alcoholic.
Wow.
He says uh I've been sober for X amount of days.
Okay.
He said just the other night, he said I was plastered
Yeah.
and went down to the liquor store for more, another bottle. He said I come back. He said I had that bottle in my hand, and he says, and I was gonna get in my car when I dropped that liquor bottle. It shattered into a million pieces. He says I immediately became frustrated, but not for the reasons that you might think. He said I realized that I came literal seconds from doing something that I swore I would never ever do.
Yeah.
And that God spared my life. He said, I resolved then that I was gonna straighten out my life and I was gonna be in church
Wow.
the next week.
Wow.
And it was that morning during that service that he asked Jesus into his heart. And
Wow.
I mean,
You know,
I I've said so many times, I've used this because it was used for me at a point in my life. And I've used it, I guess, just about every single time I've ever presented plan of salvation. When you go back to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, these things will be added unto you. Like I was told, it didn't say fix yourself, didn't say get your life straightened out first. It said seek
right.
first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then he'll add it to you.
Yes.
And I don't know if that had any bearing on it, but it sure brings me a lot of comfort, and I hope
Yes.
that truth reaches out
Yep.
to those that are listening to it.
Well,
Yes,
and I think at the end of the day, yes, the Kingsmen, as Jim Hamill used to say, yes, the Kingsmen are going to entertain you,
sure.
but at the end of the day, it's about seeing people come to Jesus. That's what it's
Yes, sir.
about. And I think, and we asked that question a little earlier. What do you think? What's one of the reasons for the longevity of the Kingsmen for 70 years? It's
Mm,
having that as the forefront. As we want, yes, we
yes,
want to entertain you. We want to give you great music and sing well and do our very best to entertain you for those few minutes. But ultimately, we want to point everything we do, all the funny stuff, all the serious stuff, all this has to point to Jesus Christ. It has to
yes.
point about, you know,
Oh, yeah,
surrender your life to Christ. And I think that's,
yeah,
I that touches me. It still touches me all these years, knowing that's what the Kingsman is about, is winning people to Jesus. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very cool.
I'm always trying to find some way to saying something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go for the shape way of saying things, and so I'm always trying to kind of keep my wits about me. But somebody came to us, and to me, it was a great compliment that meant a lot. They said, "You guys are the most entertaining group without being entertaining I've ever seen."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, and all I could think to say was that joy of the Lord is our strength,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that needs to radiate through us. And if that radiates through our concerts and our services, then there it is right there.
Yeah.
There,
Exactly right.
people coming back.
Exactly right.
Yes. That's right.
Well, Alan, we got a few more minutes. We want to talk with you. If you could give a piece of advice to a young person that's maybe interested in singing or playing music, and you're out there every week, you're beating the roads every week, you're on stages all across the country, and you're singing to thousands of people. What would be advice that you would give to a young person if they want to get involved in gospel music? What would you say to them?
Be a student of your craft. And I didn't have formal music training. I'm not very good at reading music. I'm not, very good at any kind of
That's
music theory. But I'm thankful that I was surrounded by so much music that I really began to study different
Yeah.
things about it, different vocal placements,
Right.
different ways of singing, different ways of speaking. Study the groups of the past.
Yeah.
Those that love the groups of the past, study the groups of today.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in uh, don't get so caught up in the past that you can't recognize that there is still some strong talent today, and of course vice versa.
Yeah.
Be willing to listen to artists who are maybe even a little bit outside of what you really enjoy listening to.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are, say, a very much a traditionalist, don't miss out on listening to Triumphant or the Irwins or even the Sound
Yeah.
of those artists. And if you are in that realm of music stylistically, don't miss out on listening to the Inspirations.
True. True.
Take it all in.
Yeah.
If it's not even if it's not your cup of tea, find something about it. I was some time ago down somewhere in Georgia. There was there was a group on stage that it was just not my favorite group,
Yeah.
but we were on after them, and so I took it upon myself just go ahead and sit off to the side, and naturally I'm getting on my phone and looking at
Yeah.
whatever on my phone, texting or social media, or checking on the kids. But I stopped and I thought I need to pay attention to what's going on here. And when I started doing that, it changed the way I did the program
Huh.
after they finished. I
Hmm.
called different songs. I talked to the audience different,
Yeah.
and if I had not taken the opportunity to learn from them,
Yeah.
group that was not necessarily my favorite, and that in a lot of cases I might have just sat and stayed out in the front and sat on the couch or something.
Yeah.
I actually learned from that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Cole Watson said the other night, he said that this group is said, "I don't care anything about their music," said, "but I respect them. I respect what they do." And that's where it's at right there.
Yeah.
That's just
Exactly.
the attitude to have. So gotta understand it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. Great advice. Great advice.
Yes. Yeah. Since Harold Reed has came back on the Kingsman bus, who is the bus's primary practical joker, let's say?
Everybody but Brady.
Ah,
And Brady's usually the one you're
On the
practically
receiving
joking
end.
on,
target,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably just as bad as anybody. Um, pulling stuff.
Yeah.
And, of course, Brandon got that one on the puppet act on Brady.
Yeah.
Brady thought me. I said, "No, that was Brandon Scott Reese, your manager."
Yeah,
Um,
that's your boss. Yeah.
yes. Harold will pick on Brady. Harold had Brady absolutely just Harold started just jabbing Brady in the ribs and all that stuff the other night, had Brady just screaming on the bus the other night. That's Harold's style. And
Yeah.
I'm usually just pulling whatever. I pulled a pretty good one on Ray Ding Reese one night.
Oh, yeah?
Um, we right on that bus, on that Black Beauty bus, under the TV is a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
It's kind of bar right here. And so you can connect your phone to it, and that will block out any kind of sound coming from the TV.
Okay.
So Ray had his westerns going on about volume 167. And
Oh.
I had found this clip of this guy just playing the worst piano you'd ever heard in your life. So I went to my bunk, connected into that Bluetooth speaker, and
Oh,
started
no.
playing that. And
Yeah.
canceled out it canceled out what was playing on the TV. Canceled out Ray's westerns. So I hear those feet of Ray's just shuffling back towards the back because Ray don't pick his feet up. And I just hear them feet shuffling, and then I hear 2 sets of feet shuffling up to the front because Brandon don't pick his feet up either. And so they shuffled up
Oh.
there. They shuffled up there. Brandon fixed it, and then I hear Brandon's feet shuffling towards the back. So, well, I connect back into the Bluetooth speaker and start playing it.
Yeah.
You did it again. Yeah, you did it again.
So then I hear, Brandon, Brandon. You've heard many times. Brandon goes back up there. I did this 3 or 4 times.
Oh, no.
Finally, Brandon lays down on the floor next to my bunk because I'm on the floor.
Ah.
He lays on the floor and he says, "Don't think that I don't know what you're trying to do. But you are blowing my dad's ever loving mind right now."
Oh.
At which point I woke up everybody that was trying to sleep on the bus from laughing.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ray's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
he was good with that, but
Oh, my gosh.
that
That's
was
funny.
probably the best one that I pulled on him.
That's
Wow.
funny. Well, that reminds me, this ain't my interview, but that reminded me of a story back years ago. Pavarotti, the great tenor, he had recorded a song. I'm trying to think. I think he cut a song with Celine Dion called "I Love You But I Hate You." Okay,
Wow.
yeah, it's and so Celine Dion being the incredible singer that she was. Well, we were playing Celine's new album on the bus, and we'd get to that Pavarotti, "I love you, then I hate you, then I love you, then I hate you." It's kind of my imitation of Pavarotti.
Yes.
Very good.
And
Very good.
Ray Dean was like, "That's awful. That's just awful. I can't stand that." So that night, Ray had been experimenting with earbuds, to sing with. So at the time, Greg Fox was playing drums, and he was also had the soundboard back there with the drum set, and he was actually, mixing while he was playing. So he grabbed that CD of Celine Dion and
Oh,
took it
no.
back by the board where he was at, and he told us when he was going to do it. It was like after the when Parker was introducing the group or something. Greg said, "Be ready to watch Ray." Just what he said. What? Keep your eye on Reese. Keep your eye on Reese. And so all of a sudden, we kind of we're watching in Ray's direction, and we could tell. And Greg hit that "I love you, that I hate you," and was piping it through Ray's ears and nobody else's. And he's like looking around. He's trying to figure out where this is coming from. He's pulling his earbuds out of his ears. And I guess Greg did it 2 or 3 more times. He would never do it in the middle of a song, but when there was some, talking, so
Yeah.
he would, I love you, that I hate you, that I hate you, that I love you. I mean, it's just, so your little story there reminded me of that.
Oh man. That's a lovely story. That's very good.
It's a lovely story, isn't it? Yes, it
Two
is.
great stories there. The Bluetooth speaker on the bus, and that's great.
Oh, yeah. Well, so before we go, Alan, real quick, tell us one more time about the big announcement and where everybody can go to download the song.
Old Ship of Zion coming out March the 13th with Kingsman past and present, I think about 18 or 19 all together on the song. And coming out March the 13th, you can hear it on Spotify. You can hear it on Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube, all kind of places. And also got our documentary coming out on March the 9th. And gracious, it's getting good, getting good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, brother. And
I enjoyed it.
Tell all the guys we said hey, and we're gonna let Josh close us out here.
Awesome.
This has been another great episode of Behind the Crown podcast with our special guest tonight, Alan Kendall, current baritone singer and MC of the Kingsmen. Shares some great updates about the current group right now as they celebrate 70 years of the Kingsmen Quartet's history this year. Feel free to share this episode on all your social media platforms. You can download this episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and all major podcast streaming platforms. Then also we're on YouTube as well. And then follow us on Facebook and Instagram too.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Behind the Crown podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. If you would, please like, rate, and share this episode. Join us again for another episode of the Behind the Crown podcast.